Vince McMahon is a piece of shit. And yes, the world of pro wrestling would never be what it is if it weren't for him. But still, there are no commercial merits or personal achievements that should redeem someone who has already destroyed so many lives. In today's video, we will follow all of Vince McMahon's victims. But first, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell, because this helps our work a lot. Now, let's get to our video. Vincent Kennedy McMahon was born on August 24th, 1945. He was the son of Vincent James McMahon, who was a promoter for the Capital Wrestling Corporation, who dominated the world of pro wrestling. Following in his father's footsteps, Vince became the biggest figure in the world of pro wrestling, elevating the sport to heights never seen before, and being the mentor of moments that we will never forget. But as I said before, we are not here today to highlight the career of someone with such a dirty nature, but rather to accompany the lives that were destroyed by this megalomaniac. Sable. Known today as Brock Lesnar's wife, Sable entered the WWE in 1996, initially as the valet for her then-husband, wrestler Mark Merrow. She gained notoriety by involving herself in memorable rivalries, like the one against Torrie Wilson. Sable graced the cover of Playboy twice during her peak, which solidified her as one of WWE's biggest stars. But as her fame grew, so did her dissatisfaction with WWE. She reported repeated incidents of harassment and a culture where women were treated as objects rather than professionals. In June 1999, Sable left WWE and filed a $110 million lawsuit against the company, alleging sexual harassment and unbearable working conditions. In the lawsuit, she described a series of incidents that painted a disturbing picture of WWE's backstage culture. She claimed that she was forced to participate in suggestive segments against her will, and that when she refused, she was punished or threatened. One of the most infamous incidents she described involved a situation where she was pressured to participate in a scene where her clothes were supposed to be ripped off during a live segment. After months of legal battle, the lawsuit was settled out of court in August 1999. The exact terms of the settlement were never publicly disclosed, but to be honest, this is one of the lighter cases on our list since she returned to WWE in 2003. The 2005 Wrestler. One of the most significant settlements involving McMahon came in 2018, with the shadow of the #MeToo movement looming large. A former WWE wrestler who had been with the company in 2005 accused McMahon of coercing her into a relationship. She alleged that after resisting further advances, she was demoted and eventually released from her contract. The timing of her termination and the details she provided suggest a pattern of behavior that prioritized McMahon's desires over the well-being of his employees. This settlement, which amounted to $7.5 million, wasn't finalized until years later, in 2018. The fact that it took over a decade for the wrestler to come forward speaks volumes about the power dynamics at play and the fear of retribution that likely silenced her for so long. The settlement, coupled with a non-disclosure agreement, ensured that her identity and the specifics of her ordeal would remain hidden, leaving the public to speculate about who she might be. Rita Chatterton. Rita Chatterton, who made history as the first female referee in WWE, is a name that should be celebrated for breaking barriers. Instead, she's remembered for the harrowing allegations she made against Vince McMahon. In 1992, Chatterton went public with an allegation that took place in 1986, a year that coincided with the end of her tenure with WWE. Chatterton claimed that after discussing her career with McMahon over dinner, he invited her into his limousine, promising a lucrative $500,000 per year contract. But there was a catch, a demand so vile that it's almost unimaginable. According to Chatterton, McMahon forced her to perform on him. When she resisted, McMahon allegedly became violent, assaulting her in the confined space of his limousine. This horrifying incident, she claimed, effectively ended her career in WWE, as she was let go the same year. Chatterton later filed a lawsuit seeking $12 million, alleging that McMahon had raped her, a claim McMahon denied vehemently. He countersued, accusing her of fabricating the story, but quietly withdrew his lawsuit amidst the infamous steroid scandal that threatened to dismantle his empire. McMahon's public response to the allegations was cold and dismissive, claiming he only settled the case to avoid the cost of litigation, not because there was any truth to Chatterton's story. The 2006 manager. The fourth known settlement occurred in 2006 when McMahon allegedly paid another $1 million to a former WWE manager who claimed that their relationship, which McMahon believed to be consensual, was in fact coerced. This settlement too was cloaked in secrecy, with the manager's identity protected by a non-disclosure agreement. The ambiguity surrounding this case, and others like it, fuels speculation and doubt, leaving many to wonder just how many stories remain untold. The 2008 Contractor. In another case, McMahon reportedly paid $1 million in 2008 to settle allegations brought by a former WWE contractor. This woman accused McMahon of sexual harassment, claiming he sent her unsolicited photos. A grotesque abuse of power. The woman, like others before her, signed a non-disclosure agreement as part of the settlement, silencing her story and any details that could have exposed McMahon further. The transaction, while legally binding, speaks to a broader culture of secrecy and suppression that allowed McMahon to continue unchecked. Ashley Massaro and the Pursuit. The world of WWE is no stranger to controversy, and few stars have had the courage to come forward with accusations against Vince McMahon. One of those who did was Ashley Massaro, the WWE Diva Search winner, who tragically died by suicide in 2019. Before her death, her ex-boyfriend, Paul London, brought her name into the 2022 media cycle surrounding Vince McMahon. London accused Vince of obsessively pursuing Ashley during her time in WWE. He described how she would often cry to him because Vince was propositioning her to fly on his private jet or inviting her to his hotel room. The power dynamics in WWE are well known, and it's no surprise that Ashley felt trapped. But that wasn't the only trauma she endured. In 2006, during a WWE tour in Kuwait, Ashley alleged that she was drugged and by someone posing as a United States Army doctor. The drug left her paralyzed, unable to scream or move while she was assaulted. When she reported the incident to Vince McMahon, she was told to keep quiet to preserve WWE's relationship with the military. WWE has since denied these claims, but in 2019, after Ashley's death, her lawyer released a sworn affidavit in which Ashley detailed the 2006 assault. The allegations against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and other WWE executives were serious enough that upper-level management was aware of the accusations but chose to do nothing. The tanning salon incident. In 2006, during the weekend of a WWE event, Vince McMahon made a disturbing visit to a tanning salon. What was supposed to be a simple session quickly took a darker turn. McMahon, seemingly alone, asked a female employee to take a photo of him. The reason? To send it to his girlfriend. Now, just to be clear, this wasn't Linda McMahon, his wife of many years. He then showed the employee nude photos of himself on his phone, to which she quickly told him to stop, saying it was inappropriate. But Vince didn't stop there. He followed the employee into another room, closing the door behind him. According to the employee, he then grabbed her, forcing himself on her, trying to kiss her while she struggled to push him away. There were no surveillance cameras in the room to capture what happened, but the police were convinced enough to seek an arrest warrant for Vince, citing probable cause. However, the state attorney's office decided that the probable cause wasn't sufficient to press charges, citing the lack of witnesses and physical evidence. As a result, the case was dropped. Vince and Linda McMahon both publicly denied the allegations, but the shadow of what happened in that room lingers. One can only imagine the conversation that took place between Vince and Linda afterward. Janel Grant. The case that truly brought Vince McMahon's actions into the public spotlight involved Janel Grant, who was hired in June 2019. Grant's lawsuit claims that she was required to maintain a relationship with McMahon, which included acts of depravity. The lawsuit names Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis as the primary culprits. It details graphic incidents, including one where Grant was allegedly assaulted by McMahon and another man behind closed doors, while other employees sat at their desks nearby at WWE's Stanford headquarters. Grant left the company in 2022 after signing a non-disclosure agreement worth $3 million. However, she claims that she only received $1 million of the payment because Vince stopped the remaining payments. This prompted her to go public with her story, exposing the toxic environment at WWE. While Vince may ultimately escape legal consequences, the damage to his reputation is irreparable. As we reach the end of this harrowing journey through the dark underbelly of Vince McMahon's legacy, it's clear that these stories are more than just scandals. They're a reflection of the power dynamics that have plagued the wrestling industry for decades. If you found this video insightful, or if you believe that these stories need to be told, please consider subscribing to the Saga Wrestling channel. By subscribing, you're helping us continue to bring you content. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.